Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief keeps you informed about what's happening in Annapolis, Anne Arundel County, and Maryland. Local news, local sports, local events, local opinion, and, of course, local weather. Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief starts now.
Good morning. It's Tuesday, February 7th, 2023. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief presented by Annapolis Subaru and the SPCA of Anne Arundel County. If you got my email yesterday about the Annapolis Restaurant Week, I got to say I goofed. I listed Hillman Garage as an option to park, but alas, it's not. It's still under construction. Sorry about that. But we do have a lot of news today, so let's get into it, shall we? The FBI arrested two people, a man from Florida and a woman from Catonsville, after they thwarted an attack on the power grid in Baltimore. They say it was racially motivated and both are members of a neo-Nazi group. The plan was to shoot up multiple substations in and around the city. And this seems to be the thing to do lately for homegrown terrorism. They did it in North Carolina successfully and also in Washington State back in December. All right, follow along with this if you can. It's a little bit complicated. There was essentially a knife fight in Severna Park. On Sunday, the Anne Arundel County Police were called to the 300 block of Riverdale Road for a disturbance. A teen had called reporting that a man followed him home looking to fight. The suspect did leave the scene and returned with an accomplice. At this point, the teen had gone into the home and retrieved a knife from the house. The two prepared to fight, and family tried to intervene. In the end, the suspect punched the teen in the face twice and ran away. The teen and his older sister, now also armed with a knife, ran after him, where the suspect ended up getting cut by one of the knives. Now, while this was happening, the accomplice hopped out of the car. Remember him? He gets out of the car with a machete and heads to the three that are involved in the fight, caused the teen and the sister to back off. Police rounded up all of them, and in the end, all were charged with various assault and disorderly conduct charges. All four of them ranged in ages from 17 to 19. Here's a bummer. Gordon Biersch and the Annapolis Town Center closed their doors permanently yesterday at 9 a.m. Biersch was one of the original dining options in the center, and the two remaining originals are P.F. Chang's and Zeki's Japanese Steakhouse, I believe. Now, there was a rumor that the restaurant would be replaced by a sister restaurant, but that was denied by the parent company when I talked to them yesterday afternoon. There are no other Gordon Biersch restaurants anywhere remotely near here, and I did ask them what to do about gift cards that may be outstanding, and they said to send an email to giftcard@sbphospitality.com. Once again, if you have a Gordon Biersch gift card that has some value left on it, contact them at giftcard@sbphospitality.com, and that's S as in Sam, B as in boy, P as in photo. This is concerning for those on Medicaid. As many as 80,000 may lose coverage due to the federal government reinstating a requirement that was eased during COVID. Many will be making too much money on Medicaid, and others may have moved. According to Michelle Eberly, and we've talked to her a couple times on this podcast, the state is in a good position to make sure that as many of those possible that will be leaving Medicaid can still enroll in the marketplace for reduced cost insurance. A fun survey of the week by gambling.com, because apparently they are the end-all and the be-all of long scenic walks in nature. Go figure. But they did rank all 50 states for the best long scenic walks, and we came in number 16. Not bad for a little state on the East Coast. Number 1 was California, and then Alaska, Washington, New Hampshire, Arizona, Montana, Wyoming, Kentucky, Utah, New Mexico, Colorado, Hawaii, North Carolina, Nevada, Georgia, and then, boom, Maryland. I can't speak for all those other ones, but that sounds about right to me. And I'll tell you, I have to give kudos to DNR and the state parks here in Maryland. They really do an outstanding job. Well, except for that little incident up at Gunpowder Falls with the park manager. As we begin to wrap it up, Rams Head on Stage has hooked me up once again, and send me an email or a DM on Twitter if you want to perhaps pregame the Super Bowl with the Young Dubliners for a matinee show at Rams Head on Stage. Makes for a perfect Sunday morning, brunch at Rams Head, and then slide on over for a show. Just saying. Or possibly on Monday the 13th, T3 and the Trills, which is a fabulous a cappella group out of Baltimore. And you want to be sure to check out ramsheadonstage.com for all of the other shows that are coming up. There's some good ones they just released yesterday. I hope you caught Saturday's Local Business Spotlight with Tony and Tim and all the great work those two small organizations are doing. And I am thinking about switching up this upcoming Saturday from Fairway Mortgage to the Bernie House. Not quite sure yet, but stay tuned on that one. All right, that is a wrap. But first, a quick thank you to you for listening and sharing and letting all your friends and colleagues know about us. And to our sponsors for the Daily News Brief, Annapolis Subaru, the SPCA of Anne Arundel County, Solar Energy Services, WTMD, and Alpha Engineering. So now hang tight because we have George Young from DCMDVA Weather standing by with your only locally forecast weather report. And back with a legal brief, Scott MacMullan from Scott MacMullan Law. All that coming up in just a bit.
The benefits of a good night's sleep are well documented. Sleeping well prevents weight gain, improves concentration and creativity, and boosts the immune system. So, what keeps you up at night? If you run a business, then the security of your computer network may be one of those things. Threats like ransomware and phishing are becoming increasingly sophisticated and pose a real risk to any business. Don't let these cyber threats keep you up at night. At Alpha, they've been helping their customers sleep better for over 30 years by monitoring in real time and hardening network defenses. And for those irritating IT issues that arise every day, Alpha's just a phone call away, helping your business run smoothly and helping you sleep better knowing Alpha is on guard. Give Alpha a call to see if they can ease your worries and help you get the rest you deserve. Find them at alphagetsit.com.
When you live near Annapolis, you know how fickle the weather can be. So you need a truly local forecast that's accurate and reliable. Forecast right here in Annapolis. DCMDVA Weather is not just for today, but for the rest of the week and the weekend too. Now here's George Young of DCMDVA Weather with the weather outlook for today and beyond.
Hey everyone, this is George with DCMDVA Weather, and this is your Eye on Annapolis forecast for Tuesday, February 7th. Yesterday was a pretty nice start to the work and school week with mixed skies and above average temps, but it will only get nicer today and tomorrow before some late week rain. Look for more mixed skies today with breezy highs in the low to mid 50s to be followed by sun on Wednesday with lighter winds and temperatures 55 to 62 degrees ahead of highs near 60 Thursday and Friday with a chance of showers each day before colder 40s return for the weekend with a chance of some kind of precip, but too early to tell exactly what kind, so stay tuned for updates on potential active weather this weekend. Okay, that's it for today. This is George Young of DCMDVA Weather. Make it a great day out there today. Stay healthy and be safe, and don't forget, follow DCMDVA Weather on Facebook and Twitter for regular updates each day, along with the website at dcmdvaweather.info. And definitely be sure to download the DCMDVA Weather app on all of your devices from either the Apple or Google App Stores, so you can always stay weather informed.
Face it, your kids are young, you're older than ever, and musically, your life is a demographic nightmare until now. TMD's Saturday Morning Tunes live concert series is back, this time in Annapolis with Jimmy's Chicken Shack. Throw the whole gang in the minivan of destiny and meet us at Maryland Hall for a family-friendly set by the righteously rockin' Jimmy's Chicken Shack, Saturday morning, February 11th. Tickets are cheap, parking is free, and music the whole fam can enjoy is priceless. So join us as Jimmy's Chicken Shack comes home to roost at Maryland Hall in Annapolis, Saturday, February 11th at 10 a.m. Made possible in part by the Peabody Institute of the Johns Hopkins University. Tickets online at WTMD.org.
You never know when you might need an attorney. It could be when the lights light up on the police car behind you. Or maybe you have $1 million idea and need to incorporate. From wills and trusts to car wrecks and arrests, Scott MacMullan with the Annapolis-based Scott MacMullan Law, LLC, is here to offer some insight for you with today's legal brief.
Hello, Annapolis. This is Scott MacMullan, and this is your legal brief. Chances are you've heard of Miranda rights from your favorite crime drama TV show, and you've likely heard the phrase, "You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed." Miranda warnings serve as a safeguard against self-incrimination, a right engraved in the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution. The question, though, is here, and I have this for you. And the main ones, of course, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say may be used against you in court. You have a right to a lawyer during questioning. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you at no cost. In order for a Miranda warning to be required, both custody and interrogation must exist together. A Miranda warning is not required when the suspect is not in custody. That's important. But let's talk about what I really want to talk about are the consequences of no Miranda warning. So many people, it happens all the time. They call me and they say, hey, wait a second. The police officer didn't read me the Miranda warning. Do I get off? Am I going to get this case dismissed? The answer is no. If you are not read your Miranda rights, anything you said to law enforcement during an interrogation are usually inadmissible in court. This does not mean that your charges will be dropped or that your case will be dismissed. It's simply that your statements obtained during the interrogation can be suppressed and cannot be used as evidence against you. Generally, when an officer arrests you, they already have enough to get you on the crime. Usually, not always. There's a lot of mistakes, but the officer's not going to necessarily willy-nilly arrest you unless they have, at least in their minds, probable cause or enough evidence to get you in court. So if they arrest you and there's no Miranda warning, and then you say something, it could potentially be inadmissible, but it certainly doesn't mean you're going to get off and get away with it. So just know that something bad happens, you get a DUI, you get arrested for something that's frivolous or silly or maybe even serious. Just know that just because there's no Miranda warning, that doesn't mean you're necessarily going to get off based on that alone. There might be some other reasons, though. This does not mean there's an attorney-client relationship. This is just information, not advice. If you need advice, feel free to give us a call at Scott MacMullan Law, LLC, 443-494-9775.
Hello, energy consumers. This is Rick Peters, president of Solar Energy Services. Have you been looking for ways to save money recently? Maybe you should consider solar energy for your home. Or are you waiting for the technology to get cheaper? If so, how long are you going to wait? Today's solar costs less than 20% of what it cost 10 years ago. But while solar prices have declined every year, so have the financial incentives. Bottom line, if you wait for cheaper solar, you're also waiting for lower incentives. Take my home, for example. My solar system was installed in 2010, and it's been paid off for almost 5 years, and I no longer have to buy any electricity for another 15 to 20 years. If I waited for cheaper solar, I'd still be paying an electric bill. At Solar Energy Services, we have thousands of satisfied customers who are sure glad they didn't wait. So what are you waiting for? Sunshine's a wasted. Call us today for a free solar design at 410-923-6090 or on the web at solarsaves.net.
Sunshine, sunshine, nothing else can make me feel so fine.
You've been listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Tell your friends and colleagues, this is the podcast where you can keep up on the latest with what's going on in Annapolis and Anne Arundel County. And don't forget about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find even more information. And make sure you follow us on Facebook at All Annapolis and on Twitter at Eye on Annapolis. This Daily News Brief podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at 6 a.m.